This is a session I've had with the amazing Daniel Scranton about a year ago, in which he channels the
Andromedan
Council of Light. In here, we talk about really crazy topics like reincarnation, but to a whole different density and dimension level. And also, we talk about like what are the traits of
Andromedans.
It's fascinating stuff. I know you'll like it.
We are the Andromedan Council of Light, and we are very excited to be connecting with you.
Thank you.
Yes,
I have a feeling that we're connected and that you guys are one of my lineages. Although I know that we're all part of lineages, but I think there's a special connection to you guys.
In fact, yes, there are different points of entry into a particular star system, and it is the 9th dimension in which you have connected to our star system initially. This is where we are dwelling now with an aspect of your soul. That would be considered your first entry point into our star system. And traveling through simultaneous time, this aspect of you would eventually get to where you are today. So you could see the aspect of you that is here with us as a past self.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, and a simultaneous self at the same time. But yes, there are other dimensions in which your soul is now projecting a portion of its consciousness into our star system as well.
Correct. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense to me, and I actually understand it very, very well. From your perspective, is there anything I can do to expedite my raise in density where I am now? I'm learning a lot of knowledge, and from a lot of esoteric readings and from also channel beings, and I'm trying to take that knowledge and I'm trying to incorporate it into wisdom by feeling it rather than just knowing it.
Yes.
I feel like one of my main purpose here on Earth is to help myself and humanity raise to the 4th density. Is that a good interpretation of what's going on here?
It certainly is, yes, and it is why you are awake to the possibility of ascending to the 4th density in this lifetime. It is because you wanted to play a more conscious role in leading humanity into that next level of consciousness.
Excellent. Yeah, I really feel that. I mean, I don't even feel like I need as an individual to raise to the 4th density. I just feel like I want to help the human collective do that.
Yes, and in order to help them do it, you will ascend to that level yourself.
One of the things that I got is that one of the most powerful things I can do to make that goal happen is simply to be happy and joyful and raise my vibration.
Yes, indeed. Yes, this is true.
Yeah. Is there any other advice or tools that I should practice more or do more in order to do that more efficiently?
Playing with the concept of the higher self as the puzzle that you're putting the pieces into to complete. And you are one of those pieces, and aspects of you in other star systems and in other lifetimes on Earth are other pieces of that puzzle. Seeing the integration process is one where you reach out to those pieces and you pull them into place and you place them on the higher self template where they belong. And you're doing this with the enjoyment of seeing you coming together, seeing and feeling yourself becoming as one integrated human being who knows himself as his higher self. That's a game to play with yourself and to use your imagination in terms of which aspects of you are important for you to gravitate to and to bring into the game of putting these puzzle pieces together.
I understand and accept that. I'm also maybe being a little too ambitious in that I'm also trying to take other people and really incorporate that they are me and I am them. But
Yes.
And while I know that's true in the big picture, I guess though I should just focus on me because
But these other people are representing those puzzle pieces as well.
Okay.
So by loving them, accepting them, forgiving them, healing them, having compassion for them, you're doing so for an aspect of you or a puzzle piece of you that you want to place into place.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, that resonates with me. I am working with Daniel to help do what we call channeling, and well, I don't need to explain that, but is that something that I should really focus more on, or is it just another option in my tool chest? Should I develop it to have fun with, or do you think is it a really vital piece for me to focus on and try to achieve quickly?
Well, it is a tool, and it's a tool that you can use to connect to another aspect of you that you want to bring together and that you want to integrate. And so as you ask yourself the question of what am I interested in, which star system, which being, which realm, which collective am I interested in right now, knowing myself as, because you will be merging, you will be becoming one with the being or the collective that you are channeling.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I get the feeling that I'm a part of many collectives and
Yes.
yeah, and can participate and enjoy coming together with many collectives.
Yes.
I also kind of think that my particular path is pivotal to humanity's raising the fourth density. Although I know that every person's path is pivotal, that we're all part of a puzzle or a fabric that's all weaved together. And I also know that there's no one person that's more important than another person. But that being said, I do think my role is to play a more heightened role of getting out to the public and helping folks raise
Yes.
their consciousness.
It's the role of teacher and leader. It's the role of guide and example setter. It's the role of the template creator, the way shower. And that's why it is important that you're awake and that you're moving ahead of the pack as you are. It is to pave the way and blaze the trail for humanity and those who will follow you, who will gravitate to your vibration to be the one who shows them the way.
Excellent. I'm still kind of figuring out that path. Is there anything that you can tell me to help me down that path quicker, or should I just enjoy the moment and see, if I decide to write a book, I'll write a book. If I decide to do a podcast.
Think about what you most would like to teach and focus on that and how you would like to teach it.
Yeah. I guess really the options are up to me and for me to use my inner guidance of what brings me joy and let that steer where I go.
Yes, what you would most like to see other people attaining for themselves in their lives, because you do have the capacity to give that to others.
Excellent. One thing that I'm currently facing right now is that I have a lot of knowledge in that I know a lot of readings and facts. But I think what I got from various messages is that it's one thing to have knowledge, but it's another thing to have wisdom. And wisdom is you take that knowledge and you incorporate it into your inner being and feeling. And that's actually what will connect to people more than knowledge. Straight information, it will attract some people, but I hear that I can be more effective if I give them the information, but give them the wisdom that comes from it. And that wisdom is going to have to be me incorporating that knowledge into my emotions.
Exactly.
Okay. I feel like that's where I need to take my next step and to ramp it up to be effective in helping people and helping myself.
Yes, and you get wisdom from experience, and you have your own experiences, your own growth that you can draw from in creating a type of curriculum for others to attain that wisdom and then that experience for themselves.
Excellent. I'm going to ask about Daniel, and then I don't know, is this tiring for Daniel? Because I don't want to tire him.
It's not. It's not tiring for him at all, no.
Okay. Wow, this is kind of a very big pleasure for me, and that I was hoping for this, but I didn't know if this was going to happen. So being able to communicate with you group is really kind of an honor of mine. So thank you for that.
Yes, you're welcome.
I've been working on the concept of the difference between density and dimension and realms, and I kind of have it sorted out in my mind, but can you clarify that, or kind of give me some human words to help clarify the difference between those things?
We would say dimension is a frequency range to dwell within, and when you're dwelling within that frequency range, you are in that dimension. Within that dimension, there are realms, there are different aspects of that dimension where beings will go to explore different qualities or themes, tendencies, and alignments with the self that they can have within that realm. So, for example, the fairy realm would be a different feeling realm than the angelic realm.
Correct. And my understanding, there's a dragon realm too.
Yes.
Okay. Versus dimensions, we tend to think of it as numbers, like the first dimension, second dimension, third dimension, the ninth dimension. So that's...
Exactly, and you label a realm differently. And a density is a quality of the dimension. It's a way of describing a dimension with regards to energy. So the energetic density is what comprises a particular dimension or dimensions. Because sometimes you'll have a density that contains multiple dimensions, which is why people generally say there are 7 densities, but there are 12 dimensions.
Gotcha. I that's according to my knowledge through the channel books of Ra, and I completely understand that density is kind of a grouping of consciousness, and there are 7 densities according to Ra. The 8th being the one that all that is, but basically they describe the 7 densities, and I've reviewed that information. It completely makes sense to me, so I'm pretty fluent in that outline of it. And I've actually read some information about, in our particular universe, there is 12 dimensions, but outside of our construction of our universe that there are more dimensions. Do you have a
Yes.
take on that?
Well, it depends on the universe.
Yeah.
So different universes will be broken down in different ways, and some people will choose to break down this universe into more than 12 dimensions. It depends on how they look at it, the octaves within each dimension, which there are.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can see that as you're sharing a dimension right now with others who are having much different experiences and operating at much lower frequencies than you are right now.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, I think we're on the same kind of mental path. I kind of understand what you're saying, and I agree with it in terms of what I know.
Yeah.
Can you guys tell me anything about my background? Like, I got that I am, well, we're all part of different galactic heritage. I believe that Andromedans are one of my clear lineages. I also think that Arcturians is one of my clear lineages.
Yes.
I also have an affiliation toward dragons, although I don't quite know what to call that, maybe Dragos or, but that's where I kind of get feelings for like one. Are there any other major lineages that I have, or is that some information you can give me?
Certainly, yes. You spent a vast majority of lifetimes in this galaxy, in our system, in the Arcturian system, and in the Pleiadian system. That would be the third highest number of lifetimes that you've incarnated. The Lyran, the Antarian, the Orion, the Cassiopean, Syrian. You've been to all of these, but to many fewer lifetimes than in the top three.
Yeah, I was gonna guess the Palladians was the other one, so
Yes.
that would have been my guess.
Yes.
I am also sensing that, relatively speaking, that this is one of my initial incarnations on Earth, in that most people have had many incarnations on Earth. I feel like I maybe had a low number, maybe even one, but it feels like I have incarnated on Earth to help this process of raising to the fourth density.
Yes.
That I'm not really a earthbound reincarnation that happens a lot,
Right.
according to our time, that I'm kind of here for a specific purpose.
And it's also true that since you've incarnated in this lifetime, your soul has chosen to take on other incarnations.
Okay.
And so when you were born into that body in this life, it was your first. However, since then, your soul has decided that more lifetimes there would be better, and has interjected itself into several other bodies, so that you do have cohorts there from your same soul on Earth with you right now. And some of them have been projected into the past as well. And so now you do have past lives on Earth and concurrent lifetimes on Earth, but you didn't when you were born.
Excellent. I mean, that's actually what I was going to ask you, and so you just kind of verify what popped into my mind was exactly what you just told me. So thank you for that.
Yes.
It's very cool, because I know that there is no time. So I thought, okay, if I'm starting new lives since my birth, those lives were probably been in past lives, because we're jumping time, and future lives, because there is no time, right? So it completely makes sense to me that would happen as what you described.
Yes.
So what I am sensing is that I'm also developing a lot of my psychic skills, and one of them is being claircognizant. I just get information kind of very naturally, and so am I perceiving that correctly?
Yes. Yes, you are.
Okay. And I'm kind of getting that I'm going to develop more of my psychic abilities, as we all are, as we raise our density
Yes.
level of consciousness, then a lot of those gifts or abilities are going to develop and fine-tune itself.
Yes, indeed.
Excellent, excellent. And then that all helps in that I can use those gifts to help fulfill my purpose of helping humanity raise into the fourth density.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Wow. This has been a real treat for me, so thank you. I don't know what else to ask in that I'm kind of speechless and amazed. Is there anything you guys want to tell me for my growth and wisdom right now of, you know what my goal is, and I would like to do that as quickly as possible and to be efficient. Is there anything you guys can tell me to help aid in that?
Well, it is through your joy that you attract the most students to you, and that you will teach others that this is a joyous ride, it's a joyous journey, and it can be a joyous ascension. And you think about how to teach people to follow their joy instead of thinking of themselves as beings who have so much karma to clear, so much work to do, so much clearing, so much achieving that they must do in order to attain a level of consciousness, as you show them that in that moment of joy that they experience, that moment of bliss, of unconditional love, they are ascending. They have ascended to their next level of consciousness when they're in that pure moment of delight. And you are there to show people how to find that for themselves, as opposed to going through the traditional ways that people have of renouncing things and fasting and meditating for long periods and suffering really for their spirituality. As you show people that spirituality can be fun and joyous and make them laugh and make them sing and dance. That is the true nature of yourself. It's this self that you bring to the party, and it's something that will attract the most people to you and to your teachings.
Excellent. That completely resonates with me and makes a lot of sense. I kind of believe that we are going to do disclosure for Earth about ETs coming in during, according to Burchard, according to what I got feeling about, 2025 to the end to 2033, around there, that's highly probable that Earth is going to have out of the, public ETs manifesting and coming to consciousness. Do I play a role in that? Do I play a role in helping folks connect to ETs? Because obviously I have a connection with that and I can help that.
Yes.
Okay.
All of you who are not afraid to walk up to a ship, to walk up to an ET, you're all going to be paving the way for the rest of humanity, who will have their trepidations, who will have their fears in the backs of their minds about who these beings are and what they want.
Yeah, excellent. Well, on the issue of fear, there is one fear that I have, and that's a fear of probably many folks, is that, according to Raw, and that there are groups of force density beings that are service to self versus service to others. I like the service to others and how to love each other, but the service to self kind of have a agenda where they kind of want power and control. So I do have a fear of those density visitors making contact for not altruistic purposes of service to others and love. Should I put that fear out of my mind? Because I know everything's perfect,
Yes.
and I know that it will all work out.
Well, not only that, but the material was given 40 years ago.
Correct.
You see, and it's been 40 years of evolving
Yeah.
for those groups, 40 years to play the villains in the galaxy. They've done that. They've seen the ramifications. They've seen the instant karma that they get from it. They're learning. They're growing. And they were, even at the time of that channeling, completely outnumbered by the light, by the beings who are wanting to help. Of course, at a time in your history, the Zetas were coming and they were neutral.
Yeah.
They were not coming to help and they were not coming to harm. They were coming for their own benefit. But it still worked out for all of you because you have the races like Yael and Sasani, and you have teachers like Bashar and Aishua who are helping you to raise your level of consciousness. And so all that has shifted dramatically since the time those teachings were given. And many people are starting to realize that the traumas they experienced as children with the Zetas were fears that they themselves held, and not that these were scary beings who were doing awful things. So you're seeing a lot of that need for there to be a villain in the galaxy going away, and more of an evolution of consciousness. Even by those who don't want to evolve their consciousness, they cannot help but do it because the energies of ascension are so strong, because you continue to be upgraded and given higher frequency energies to work with.
That completely makes sense. And when you say that it's been 40 years since the channeling of that book, I imagine because there is no time, even though we think of it as 40 years, they evolved into their density beyond what we call 40 years, because they're, 40 years here is different than 40 years at a higher density.
That density, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that completely makes sense, that they are even of a higher density than it would take us to do in 40 years, because it's a different dimension and density.
It is. It is. It is.
That actually gives me a lot of comfort, because that says that the density at that time 40 years ago, it really has evolved beyond time that we think of, linear time. So they are really could have converted from the fourth density to the sixth density by now, and that's what we're seeing coming back to us in a very higher form.
Yes, indeed.
Completely makes sense. This has been really, really valuable. So let me ask you, is it okay for me to share this video with friends, or is this information?
Yes.
It is. Great, because...
It is. It's up to you to do whatever you want with this.
Excellent. Yeah, because I really think this would be very useful for a lot of folks that I've been having discussion with, and this is beautiful. Thank you. I mean,
yes.
I just want to give my gratitude and appreciation to you guys.
Yes, and we are very happy to give you our gratitude and appreciation, as we know you are there doing the work and you represent us well. You represent the Andromedan energy very, very well.
Oh, okay. One of my last questions is that, can you tell me some of the qualities of Andromedans?
We are very much interested in working with different tones, different energies of light, vibration, sound, and color So, in a sense, this is the artistic hub of the galaxy, where music is explored, where art and sculpture are explored, where even storytelling and filmmaking are explored in a variety of different ways. Our culture is very much into diversity and diversifying, giving many the opportunity to explore their artistic selves. And also, because of the way that we have followed those tendencies towards self-expression, we have developed our minds, and our science and technology has been born out of our willingness to pursue art as just a form of release, a form of expression of joy, a way of communicating with one another. It has opened us up to receive great downloads. It has enabled our scientific community to come up with devices that help us to travel great distances and to communicate through wormholes and portals to other realms.
That makes a lot of sense, and I can identify with that part of my human self that has those traits, because I am very artistic, and I have a lot of joy in taking that vibration and translating it and creating, and it just brings me a lot of joy. So that resonates with me. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah. I actually just want to thank you and conclude. This has been like a very nice surprise for me. I'm kind of out of questions because it's just been a delight, and I'm just gonna let it soak in for me and giving you my gratitude, and I guess I'm signing off.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, we are the Andromedan Council of Light, and we have enjoyed serving you in this way.
Thank you. How do you feel, Daniel? I mean, you okay, or?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it really gives me an opportunity to relax. To channel is very relaxing for me.
Okay.
I've been feeling some tension in my body, and it's like I've been, and I've been working today, and I've been giving it a little bit of attention, but I noticed that when I went into the channeling state, I immediately started to feel more relaxed and less like tense in the body, and allowing me to, to just, it's like I don't have to do much when I'm channeling. I kind of get to just observe it. And I do see visuals too sometimes, and those visuals do help me to do the translating, which it makes it somewhat participatory for me. But I do feel like it is the best thing that I do for myself in my life is to channel.
Excellent. Okay.
So it is incredibly healing and raising of my vibration, and allowing me to really have some time where I just get to be in this high vibrational state.
Okay, because I have worked with other channelers, and they're all different. Some people get drained by them, some people get invigorated by them, but I see that it's all different.
I know. Yeah, it is.
Great,
yeah.
Great. Okay. I'm still kind of like shocked that this happened in a good way. I'm just gonna kind of digest that. Next month we'll meet, and I think if it's okay with you, I would like to ask him more questions. Because there are other topics like Reiki and being able to help people with health questions and developing that skill. So that might be like another topic that I would raise with them, or another group. Because again, the Arturians, no, the Andromedans are one group, but you channel other groups. So I think that I have connections with other groups that might want to come in and give their expertise. So that would be very interesting for me. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, and I recommend, just take the time and do the exercises that I gave you in the channeling group and see
if it comes
see
to
what
me
you can
or-
get. See like who you might be able to connect to that can take you even further than where you are right now. Because it's just interesting, it's just like it's fun and it gives us different perspectives to do this channeling work.
I mean, the buzz I just got there is that if I think it's fun, that's kind of like my phase of motivation right now. If I think it's fun, that's my juice to go there. So yeah, I think.
Are you right in New York City?
Yeah, I'm right in the middle of New York City. I'm in Chelsea.
Do you like doing yoga?
I've never tried it before.
Oh, okay. I think a good friend of mine teaches yoga in Equinox in the city there. Do you know Equinox?
Yeah, they have several branches. There's one.
Yeah, I don't know which one.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I was thinking maybe I could Google it and he would come up, and he's just a fun guy, like really funny. And let's see, I don't see. Maybe he's not teaching at Equinox anymore. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll have to reach out to him at some point.
Okay, so why would you recommend yoga? I mean, I'm not familiar with it. So what is that? Just because you think if I physically relax and that
it does help
helps
you. It does help your body to
connect, because I know it's the mind,
handle more
spirit, it's
energy.
the connection of it in your body. You got to loosen up your body and get it flowing.
I did it for like 6 months, almost every day when I was pretty new to channeling, and I really loved it. Gets you to really focus too, be present, be grounded, all that stuff that you really want to be when you're channeling.
Okay. Because normally I think of yoga as just stretching, but it's more of a meditative.
It's a
body
spiritual
space
thing, yeah. It's in the West we've made it into that more of a physical thing.
Yeah.
But it is much more. I'm pretty sure these yogis originally were just channeling these movements, and they were just like led to do them, led to hold them, and didn't really actually know why, but they were like people have said, just by stretching your hips, you can release all kinds of trauma, emotional trauma.
Yeah.
Just by doing hip stretches.
That actually resonates. That makes sense to me. So I can kind of see how that all connects and works. So let me ask you something that just popped into my mind is that I don't know if you have any background in this, but I've recently found that I'm starting to speak galactic languages. But even more fun for me is that I'm actually starting to pick up galactic hand language, which is like a different vibration for me of just communicating. And
so you are channeling.
Right. I mean, it's just getting different languages.
You're channeling these different, these different galactic beings.
Yeah.
And that's how it's coming through you. Yeah.
I kind of feel like they are codes, and they're codes to help unlock my DNA, but also to help spread the codes on Earth. Because everything's energy, right? And you're just pulling down energy and codes and just spreading it out with love. So that's kind of my initial thoughts about what's happening. Do you have any opinion on that? Or?
Well, what I would do if I were you is when you're channeling the words in their language, are you speaking them or hearing them, or how are you getting the words?
I am hearing
in their language?
Some other people channel them, and I know which language resonates for me. I know that Arcturian is one language that kind of feels very much in the vibe. Dragon is actually one language that I really kind of know that can speak, and I've heard other fairy language and angelic language. They all have a different tone and resonance, but certain ones feel more like a fit for me. So I'm kind of developing them as I'm getting exposed to them.
So you're being exposed to them through other people's channeling?
Yes. Although during the channeling, I've also participated and talking to them, even though I don't know what I'm saying, with my hands, and also a couple of times verbally. So the next time it happens when you're speaking, say to yourself, okay, now let's hear this in English, or let's do this in English, and translate it into English. Because that's what I'm going to teach you all to do in the channeling course during the light language class that we're going to do, is how to take when you're speaking in light language and then go, okay, now English, and have it actually come through in English. Interesting. I never thought about that, but
it works. I've done it many times myself.
Because you put the intention out there, and then
because I'm still channeling new groups, the groups that are new to me, and they'll come through as light language and toning first, and then I'm like, okay, now I want to hear this in English, and then it happens.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so does that take away from you channeling in the light language? Because I guess not, because you're not interfering. Whether or not you make it come out in English or whether or not it comes out in light language, it's communication of vibration either way. So I guess...
Right, but it's just so that you can do both, but you eventually want it to be something that others can perceive, and mentally grab onto.
Gotcha.
So you can do both, the speaking in the galactic language and in English, and they'll get certain things from each that they can only get from it being delivered in that way.
Gotcha, because that kind of makes sense. So like when you're channeling different Palladians or Curians, it's coming to you probably in their language, and then you're translating it into English so that we can...
It's just, I don't even think they have language, most of them anymore.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So, because I'm channeling non-physical groups.
Correct.
If you're channeling a group that is physical, they might still have a language. But even like Bashar, who's physical, doesn't speak anymore. So there's nothing to... So it's pure energy that you channel, and then you take that energy and form it into words.
Okay.
But you might be channeling also, these other people might be channeling ancient languages that are no longer spoken. It's possible.
Yeah, or like Wendy Kennedy, when she channels angelic language.
Light language.
Light language. Yeah. It comes out in spoken form.
She's the one who told me that that's what it was that I was doing.
Yeah.
Is her Pleiadians were like, oh yeah, you're channeling a light language, and it's your version of a light language. And I was like, oh, okay. I had no idea what a light language was, but I had been channeling it for 6 months.
Yeah. So your version meaning that it comes out...
Everybody's unique.
Everyone's a little unique, yeah.
Yeah, everybody's gonna put their own
dialect
energy into it to a certain...
Yeah.
I've never met anybody who said, oh yeah, I speak this light language and this person speaks that light language, and we get together and we speak our light languages and we totally understand each other. I'm sure there's people out there who do, but I've never heard of it.
Yeah. I've been in rooms where different people speak different languages, and I can tell which grouping they are, but when one person speaks dragon language and another person, it's a little different, but I can get the tone and know that that's dragon language versus angelic language versus fairy language. I can tell the groupings, but they're all unique still within the groupings. They have the different words, that come out of their mouth. But it's been very fascinating, and it's been something that I'm interested in, that brings me joy, that I've been kind of developing, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Well,
Very cool.
I am completely happy and satisfied. Thank you, Daniel. This has been like
You're welcome.
great experience for me.
Great.
So
Glad to hear it.
okay.
Have a good night.
You
Sleep
too.
well.